Hi lovely people, it is actually the morning of the day where I'm uploading this video. So if you are watching today on Sunday, this is me this morning. I am all over the place, but let me explain.
We need to find a common home for you and me and maybe someone more. Give me affection, please.
Hi everybody, if you've never been around here before, my name is Elisa. I create my dream wardrobe from scratch and I take you along for the ride. I also release my original digital sewing patterns on Etsy. Today we're gonna do a I See It, I Want It, which is one of my series here on my channel. It's all about recreating looks that I see online or in real life or in stores that I would really like to own but cannot get my hands on or don't have the pizzazz to actually buy. So this tutorial was actually filmed quite a few weeks ago around Valentine's Day. However, at the time I did not get to turn around the video fast enough for it to actually go live on Valentine's Day, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. What I'm making is actually this. Now let me rewind to my original intro where I explained this dress. It's Valentine's Day and I have a double date coming up. I'm going to a really cute fancy restaurant in Soho that I really like with my close friends and my partner. And I was thinking about what to wear for it. I came across this picture on Pinterest that was posted by Louise Rowe. She's an interior designer based in London. Really cool lady. She also is very distinct with her fashion choices and I quite like her style. Now this dress I have tried to find high and low and I could not find the name of the brand that made this dress. I checked out her blog and I checked out her Instagram and I couldn't find it, so if you do know who made this dress, do let me know. I love the shape of it. It's super relaxed and comfortable, and you know me, I'm a sucker for puff sleeves. But I also particularly love the stark contrast between the ditzy floral design and the black bias binding. I think it really, you know, joins this idea of whimsy and cool girl in a really nice way. I found the perfect fabric for this, which is this cotton, which has a really nice quality to it. I think it must be a sort of cotton viscose mix. It's quite soft to the touch and it has a cool, smooth surface. And it has the perfect print, which is this ditzy little playful floral in orange, pink, and off-white. And I think this combined with black bias binding is perfect to recreate this look. Now in terms of the pattern, I think this is pretty straightforward. We have a very simple bodice, we have a gathered midi skirt and puff sleeves. Now I only have a limited amount of this because this was rather expensive for cotton. I think this was £15 a meter. I'm not used to that price for cotton, but because the print was perfect, I had to go for it. So maybe I need to tweak the design just a little bit, probably in terms of the length. But other than that, it's super simple. We have a simple bodice, we have big puff sleeves, and we have a gathered skirt, and that's about it. Okay, that brings us to today. I'm now going to share with you how I made this dress and how it turned out, and then I'll see you again at the end of this video. Do you remember when I said I wasn't going to let this happen again? I'm a liar. I'm a big fat liar. Alright, so I'm going to use my basic bodice blocks and I'm going to use this one which has all of the dart in the waist for a change because I don't know, I keep doing the Amelia bodice and I figured why not do something else. And then I have my simple back bodice, dart in the shoulder and dart in the waist. And then I fetched my oversized Frankie puff sleeve, which I think will be perfect for this. I'm going to cross-reference a few measurements here before I cut. Okay, so I cut all of my pieces now, and as I have feared, I'm now left with a very weird rectangular piece that's about 1.40 m by 1.40 m, which is not quite big enough to do the skirt that I wanted to do, which means that I'll probably have to shorten it. But that's okay, I'll sit with that for a while and I'll assemble the bodice and the sleeves first. Okay, I'm gonna start out by putting my darts in. Alright, so the darts are in, and what I've done is actually I have curved the darts for the bust as well, which is something that I like to do. I've also done that with my Amelia dress pattern if you're familiar with that, but that one has angled French bust darts and this one has the darts in the waist. But then what I've done here is I've curved them out to give it a more organic shape, and hopefully that's gonna help the bodice cling to the shape of the bust nicely. Looks good. You can't even tell that there are darts here because of the busy pattern, which is good. And now I'm just popping the back onto the front, closing the shoulder and the side seams. All right, bodice is assembled. Let's move on to the sleeves. Okay, so now that the bodice is assembled, I can put together the sleeves, and those are simple. I'm just going to pop them right sides touching, sew the sleeve inseam, and then elasticate the cuff. You know, there's nothing better than instant gratification sewing projects. This is such a simple thing to make, and I have versions and iterations of something like this in my closet for sure. Thinking about the Frankie dress that I made in December for my birthday, or even the velvet Amelia that I made for Christmas. They're basically all the same style silhouette as this one, but it's funny how things can change just depending on the fabric that you use, and maybe if you change the proportions a little, like make a longer skirt, make a shorter skirt, make a more or less puffy sleeve. So there's lots you can do to switch it up a little bit. And if you find a silhouette that you like, you know, don't change your winning team. It's also funny because I feel like these puff sleeve silhouettes have been going on for at least 5 years now, and they're not really dying down. It's probably because it's very comfy and looks cute, and that's what we want. So it's a new day around here. It's a few days later, and I stopped this project with doing the cuffs of my sleeves. They're not yet inserted, and I have my bodice right here somewhere. Here, yep, my bodice. So the next thing I will do is insert my sleeves, and then I will have to somehow make this remnant piece here, which is about 1.40 meters by 1.40 meters into a gathered skirt. I'm gonna keep it mini length because I don't have enough fabric to do anything else really. And I also got the time to get the bias binding that I needed, which is black cotton bias binding. And I'm gonna use this to put the decorative trim around the armholes, neck, and hem of the dress. And this is cotton like the shell of the dress, so it matches in terms of like fabric quality with the black. I think it's gonna give it a really nice contrast. So let's get to it. All right, so we have 3 panels that make the skirt. We have the middle panel, which is the center front, back panel, back panel. I was able to cut some pockets. I'm gonna leave the length as is for now, which is just about knee length, which is probably gonna be too long. I think I'm gonna make it mini, so I'll shorten it later. But I'll assemble it first and then decide on the length once I can wear the dress. Right, so I have managed to put something together that kind of maybe looks like a skirt. So we have pockets, which is nice. There was enough fabric for that. Side seams are sewn, and I added 2 rows of basting stitches along the waist. So now I can fetch my bodice and try to gather down the skirt to its perimeter. So I'm just giving myself a notch in the center front so I can align that notch in the skirt with the notch in the bodice. Good old construction 101, just plopping those 2 right sides touching, and then I need to put the side seams right sides touching like this, and now I can see how much ease there is in the skirt, and this is what needs to be gathered down. And the same thing's true for the back side. So now I'm simply going to use my basting stitches to kind of push it all down. Okay, skirt is gathered and pinned, and now I can sew it in. Alright, so the shell of the dress, except for the sleeves, is now completed. looks like this. I actually quite like the proportions. It stops a little below my knee and it looks kind of cute. Let's see how I feel once I can actually try it on. So now I'm going to put the sleeves in, and there's a bit of a twist here. Right, so usually when we put sleeves in, we place them right sides touching. Not today though, because I want to attach bias binding to the shoulder seam later, which means that it would be better to place it left sides touching so that we have the seam allowance facing outside, basically, so I have something to attach the bias binding to. So left sides touching, so the seam allowance is facing out. Right, so the first bias binding is attached. I did that off camera because I had to figure it out myself. It's a two-step process, but now I can show you how I did it, so let's do it. All right, so for starters, what I did was to find my side seam, because that's where I start, since the bias binding is going to overlap for a little bit and that creates a bit of bulk. I'd rather have that bulk underneath my arm so you can't really see it. Now the first thing that needs to be done is to take the bias binding and then place it down kind of left side, so inside onto the right side of the shell like this. And you're going to now sew this along the edge, and you're going to make sure that you hide the existing seam that holds the sleeve in place. So I'm just going to go all around the armhole doing this first step. Right, okay, first step is done, and now it looks like this, and we will have to fold this back over and then stitch across the edge on this side. However, first I am going to snip the seam allowance all around because it's a bit too tense. So by snipping the seam allowance like this, I'm just removing the tension. And I do make sure that I'm not cutting into the seams that I've just placed. Once that's done, I'm now going to trim back the seam allowance, making sure it doesn't go over the halfway point of the bias binding, so that I have an easy time wrapping it around the seam allowance. And as a last step, I can now actually wrap the bias binding over, and I'm this time going to pin it in place to keep everything neat and tidy as I sew. If you wanted to, you could actually also close this by hand now if you wanted to keep it extra dandy, but if you sew very close to the edge of the bias tape, it's also going to come out looking very neat. Just make sure that you place your needles so that they are also catching the tape on the other side. And now the final stitch.
Laid under the willow tree, the last weekend of summer, the empire at our fingertips.
Okay, so now it's just about deciding the length, and weirdly I kind of like this knee length, so I think I'm gonna stick with it. So I'm going to add the bias binding to the hem now, and then I'm going to insert the center back zipper, and this is what the dress looks like finished.
Asked if you would be, would you be my Valentine? Would you be my Valentine? Still I lie within the memory, devoted as your lover. You could take my hands and cover your eyes and tell me there's no other. Would you be my Valentine? Would you be my Valentine? Find the right one when the time is right.
All right, that's the end. How do you like the dress? I personally really love it. I think it's super cute. I am really happy about the effect of the dark trim around the quite ditzy floral print. I think it gives it this edgy look that I'm always after. It's also super easy to wear. I like the fabric, super breathable. So I can see myself wearing this not just for a fancy dinner out in Soho, but also just on a Sunday strolling about. I really like it. One minor thing that I don't love about the execution of how I did it, I should have just gone with my Amelia bodice, which is tried and true, which I know fits me perfectly. I shouldn't have gone for that old bodice block with the huge dart in the waist. I just think the Amelia bodice would have looked nicer, but it's fine. So, okay, at the beginning of this video, I told you that I am a little bit all over the place. Let me explain why. I am currently working on a sewing pattern, which I think I have mentioned at least once before. It is a twin set, a Chanel type twin set. So it consists of a slightly boxy, straight cropped jacket and a fitted A-line skirt. I have already gone through all of the motions of the testing phase, and it's turned out that it's a really good fit, which I'm very happy about. I just had to undertake a few minor changes, and now the pattern is ready for me to share it with you. Meaning, next Sunday, I will share with you the tutorial, which I'm currently filming. You might still be able to see some of the not quite finished pieces of the set, which I will share with you next Sunday. So if you are in the market for a twin set, or you're intrigued or you want to challenge yourself, stay tuned. I hope to see you next Sunday. One last thing that I would like to share with you before we actually leave it for today is that I am in a partnership with Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn, which some of you might have heard about. It's a UK online fabric store. They are an amazing, amazing resource to find beautiful, unique fabrics. A lot of them are dead stock fabrics at amazing prices. I am lucky enough to be in a partnership with them, and they allow me to choose some of their fabrics almost every week. Actually, I'm quite a lucky gal, and I want to share with you what I selected this week, which is a drop that features a lot of Zara dead stocks actually, which is quite interesting. This week I chose 3 fabrics. The first one isn't in their most recent drop, and unfortunately I think I snatched up the very last remnants of it, which is about 3 meters. This is an Indian block print, and it's the cutest, sort of almost like paisley print. It is 100% cotton, super lightweight, and I love the color combo of this like cool grayish blue with the red and pink. I think this is going to make a super pretty summer dress, and I'm very excited about it. Like I said, this particular print is probably not online anymore, but they have loads and loads of other prints. I would really encourage you to check them out. We also have, from their most recent drop, this beautiful laser cut cotton, which I am obsessed with. Look at this! You know I like blue, right? I love blue. And this with the beautiful laser cuts in here is just absolutely gorgeous. I can see this in so many different things. I'm actually thinking this would make a totally beautiful version of my Clio dress. If you're looking for something a little bit more maybe formal, but also like quintessentially British. It's like a tea dress. It's like a garden party dress. So if you're in the market for a garden party dress, this is the fabric for it, and I have the pattern for you. And then last but not least, we have this beautiful printed gingham, which I believe is waxed cotton, but like it has a very, very faint shimmer to it, so it's maybe not wax, but it's definitely cotton. And this is also gonna make a super nice summer dress. I'm thinking I'm gonna do a type of apron dress with this, and I love the navy blue with the white, and that it kind of has this like hand-painted quality. Right, so these are my picks this week. I can't wait to make something with them, especially now that the weather in the UK is so nice. I can't believe we get to get this early spring. It's very rare. And the best part is I do have a fantastic discount code for you, which is called VIP Eliza, for a whopping 20% off on their already really good prices. So I would encourage you to check them out. I have the link in my description. And as always, if you like this video, subscribe. It's really fun around here. Let me know in the comments what you thought about today's project. And that is it. I see you next Sunday. Bye bye.
My Valentine. Still I lie